Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody is doing wonderful. So, sometime at the end of last year, at the end of 22, I remember I did a video and I got on, my video camera and I was just like, I don't really know what to talk about. And I'm kind of in that space again, but I'm going to try something a little different and I'm just going to have a conversation and I'm going to talk to you like I would talk to any of the ladies in my mentoring group and share some life experiences in less than 10 minutes, okay? So I'm very open in the sense that I always say there's personal and then there's too personal. I'm the same way when I teach. I tell my student, I share stories with my students all the time. But then there's a line you cross where I feel like it's a little bit too much. We all got to keep some things private, right? But I feel like in order to help people, there is a level of transparency that has to occur. I know the people that I have learned the most from, whether it's in person or listening to a YouTube video or reading a book, the people that are most open and transparent and not trying to have everything fit in this nice, neat box, are the people that I learn from the most. And so I do my best to do that. So y'all know I'm all about purpose and living in your purpose. And today I want to talk about how I even got here. And I want to talk about how in order to get to your purpose, first of all, more than likely, it's not going to be a straight line. Second of all, and that's something I talk to my students about all the time because they always want to know, Professor Campbell, how did you become a professor? And my journey was a little bit like this. It wasn't like this. For those who don't know, my original goal when I first went to college when I was 18 was to be a sportscaster. That was what I wanted to be. But what's so crazy is because of that, I majored in communications and I ended up with all these credits in communications, but I didn't want to waste them. So I finished my undergrad in communications, really not knowing what to do with that until I had my aha moment of teaching. And then, it was like, well, what do I want to teach? I don't like a subject in high school enough to teach it. I'm not touching middle school with a 10-foot pole and elementary school, it's not for everybody. So it just led me to the space of teaching sociology because I loved sociology so much. So one of the things I just want to candidly talk to you about in the moments where life is just, you're wondering if you're even on the right path, that could be in any area of your life, whether you're on the right path with school, whether you're on the right path in your job, whether you're on the right path in your relationship. One of the classes that I teach is called Families in Society. So it's a class all about family dynamics. It's such a fun class. And I always tell my students, this is going to be like therapy because you start hearing stories from your classmates and you realize your family's not as crazy as everybody, as you thought it was. You hear crazier stories, but nonetheless, my path was not a straight one, and has not been, and favor Professor Campbell. I am very much a planner. I'm very much like, this is how I see my life turning out. And then once I see it, I'm off and running. Anybody who knows me well knows once I get something in my head, there's really no getting it out of my head and it's going to happen. Like the few people that are closest to me know that very much about me. So one of the things that I often hear, see, and just know, is that when you're on this journey of life and you're on this path, whether it's work related, again, whether it's relationships, whether it's school, any part of your life, you are going to get to a point where you question everything that you're in, right? Is this the right relationship for me when everything seems to be crumbling? Is this the right job when I can't stand my coworkers? That's not me. I have good coworkers. And is this even the right major for me when I don't even like these classes and I'm failing these classes? I don't have an answer for you as far as what you should do with that very specifically for yourself. That is for all of us to have to figure out, right? But what I can tell you is every part of your story will come together like this amazing puzzle. And if you allow it, one of my friends just gave me a word. She'll know exactly who she is. And that word is surrender. That's what I'm calling this video this week. And I just thought about it right now. Surrendering, we think of, oh my God, war. Somebody is like, they're giving up. Surrendering is really quite the opposite. Surrendering for me, I'm going to make this really personal. Surrendering for me is allowing God to take control over my life and just say, whatever your will is for my life, I'm cool with it. I'm good with it. I realize that's not everybody's thing. I'm just making that personal, and that's my thing. But surrendering is saying, you know what? I'm going to allow this to play out the way it's supposed to play out, right? If this relationship is meant to be, it's going to play out the way it's supposed to. You still got to put in your work, right? You can't just magically assume that it's going to happen and things are going to get great if they're bad. No, both people have to do their job, right? I'm going to make the most out of this job, gain the experience that this job is teaching me. I like to think that there's a bigger purpose for me, a bigger audience for me. But in the meantime, I love my job. I love what I do. I can see myself teaching for as long as possible. And there's parts of my job that I can see that are adding to this piece of this puzzle. When it comes to I've been there where my students are. If you're one of my former students or students, just know the pieces are going to come together. I have failed some classes too, and I'm a college professor. Not proud of those Fs, but there's a couple on my transcript, but nonetheless, it's all part of my story. So my encouragement to you today is to get to that space mentally where no matter how difficult it is, no matter how challenging it is, what storm you're in or whatever, the pieces are all going to come together. And we all have to get to a point where we say, you know what? Again, for me, my faith is very important to me. So surrendering and allowing God to shape how he wants my life to play out, because at the end of the day, I know he wants what's best for me. But getting to that point where you say, you know what? I'm going to let this play out and trust the process. Trusting the process is probably another title I could have used, but today I'm just going to call this surrendering, because that's where I am in my life, surrendering and saying, you know what? Everything is going to work out the way it's supposed to. I'm going to do my part, but I'm going to look back at all the things that I've done and the experiences and start to put the pieces together in the puzzle of where they belong, because they won't be wasted and yours won't be wasted either. So hope that helps somebody. Hope you have a wonderful day, week, or weekend. And I'll see y'all on the next video.